what is it that you do if you go out and you work and you serve and you do all this and you lose your kids?
Yes.
And they don't know Christ. That is your ministry. So don't think, okay, I can't do what she's doing. I can't serve the way she's serving. You don't need to.
You don't need to.
Your ministry
That's right.
is your husband and those kids.
That's
And
right.
it doesn't get any better than that.
It doesn't.
It just does not.
Hi, Castleview Baptist Church. You know me, Debbie Throndson, and my wonderful husband, Pastor Tate. And tonight, I am here with Tonya Shepard. And we just came off a wonderful weekend, didn't we, Tonya?
Oh, it was fantastic.
It was wonderful. We just came off one of my favorite events that truly has turned into a tradition since we've planted the church, and that is my Ladies' Christmas event. It was called the Ladies' Christmas Party. Now we call it an event because it's become such a big deal. And I did not know Tonya Shepard before this weekend. I've heard about her and from Mary Lee, from Drew's mom. And she told me, Deb, you're going to love her. She's so transparent, the Southern accent. Oh,
it's an accident, all right. Oh, for sure.
All of it, because I always, when we go back to on my side of the country in the South, I always tell my husband, I go, oh, baby, everything's better in the South.
It's pretty neat here, I have to admit.
Yeah. And so this is her first time in Castle Rock. Is that right, Tonya?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And it is a hallmark town.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
I did want to talk about a little bit about the Ladies' Christmas event. So we had that this Saturday night, last night. What did you think?
I was blown away.
Yeah.
When I walked in, and of course I'd not been to your new church, and the way it is, just the windows everywhere, and you could look out to the most gorgeous view. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how y'all got that property other than the Lord.
It's
and
totally
that building.
God. Yeah.
And then to go in and all those huge Christmas trees and every table decorated for Christmas with its own Christmas theme. Yeah. It was just gorgeous. But with all that, the ladies make it.
Yes.
And they were unbelievable.
Yeah, I have
just some of the
ladies.
Sweetest ladies I think I've ever met.
Yeah.
Kind and ready to have a good time.
Yes.
I mean, they really were.
Yes.
And so accommodating to me,
good.
Made
That's
me
good.
feel right at home.
That's good.
Of course, you can't be around you without feeling right at home.
Oh, well, good.
So I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Good. So I want to talk a little bit about get to know you a little bit. So Tonya has been married, you said, to your best friend for 49 years?
49 years.
49 years. They have 8 children. 7 of those are girls and 1 is a boy.
Hence why I'm crazy. That's enough. And hence why Tom's
Lots
bald.
of drama with girls.
Oh, it is.
Yes.
I think boys are much easier.
Yes.
Much easier than the girls were. I mean, I love them all.
Of course. But yes.
I've often said, I think I would have made so much better a boy's mom. But that's like telling God, you didn't know what you were doing when you gave me all those girls. No, he knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I love them dearly. Yeah. Oh. And, of course, they're all grown and gone now and have given us 27 grandchildren.
27 grandchildren. That must be just the sparkle in your eye. I mean,
well,
just
you
makes
just
your
can't
heart
even
melt.
believe it. You just look at it and think, look what you've done, God.
Yeah.
Look what you have done. I stand amazed when I see it all.
Yeah.
We get together once a year on and off they come in, but we try to have a family vacation once a year.
Oh, I love that.
Thanksgiving and Christmases have kind of gone, they come and go, some at Thanksgiving, some at Christmas. We're never really all together during those times.
Because they have other families.
They do.
The spouses' families, too.
And I had a real problem with that back in the day.
I bet.
Because some of them lived near the parent that wanted them every other Christmas. And I'm like, you get them all year long. Why do you have to have them for Christmas when you go to church together? You live on their property. Of course, she's probably going to watch this and say, I know you're talking about me, Tonya, which I am. But I got over it. I thought, this is stupid.
Right.
And, I'm not going to cause trouble over whether somebody wants to go to somebody's house for Christmas, even though they have them every day of the year besides that.
Right.
So I gave up on the Christmases and Thanksgivings and just thought, if we can just get together on our family vacation, I'll be happy. So my one son-in-law says he told it one time. He said, I think she makes us sign a contract that we will be there for family vacation, but I don't.
Right.
But I am
But they
disappointed
know.
when one of them
I
can't come.
It is hard when it is really difficult. I'm noticing, and I don't have 8, but it's very difficult even for my side of the family or my husband's side of the family when we do all get together, and we do try to do that. But trying to get everybody's schedules to match because of work and everything, it is a job.
And when you have 4,
and you have to intentionally make it happen. It's an
4
intentional
in the ministry.
thing.
So you know, being in the ministry.
Yes.
That's not easy.
No.
You know, they want you at church for Christmas Eve service. They want you at for the Christmas service.
Right.
So you're planning all that for Christmas, and then for vacation, I tell them a year in advance. Mark it down on your church calendar. I've seriously thought about calling their secretaries and say, here's our family vacation. Please put it on their calendar for me.
Well, since I am a pastor's wife, I actually do put it on the calendar.
Oh, well, good for you.
I do. We mark off the same week. It's a tradition we started with my parents once they had retired a few years back, and I'm so glad we did now because my dad passed away, and now we have all those memories.
Oh.
So we would do it around the July 4th weekend, either like the last week in June or the first week in July, and we get together and we would go sightseeing. We've done a few trips like that, and it's still become a tradition even without my dad. But we think about him when he's not there
Because you've always done it.
Yes. And I'm so thankful we started that. You know, I really am. And so I do want you to tell this. What was it? I remember you telling me this. Of course, you've had 8 children, and then you have the 27 grandchildren. In high school, when you went back to your high school reunion, people said
they would have voted me the least likely to have children.
That is so funny
and
to me.
that's just how crazy and all. They're like, she is never going to have children. She doesn't have the brain to have children, and I probably still don't. But you know, it has been fun, and I have loved every minute of it. With the homeschooling, there were days, I will admit, that I thought, what was I thinking?
Right.
What was I thinking?
Right.
But I think because of that, they're closer because they were together 24/7.
Right. They're each other's best friends.
Yeah. And with homeschooling, we didn't have all the sports. You know, we didn't do all that.
The distractions sometimes can be a
It
distraction
and
for sure.
I made, probably they did not like it, but I made the decision I was not going to be a taxi driver. I just wasn't going to do it. I said, y'all got enough to play, get out in the yard. There was enough of them. I didn't have to taxi them here, taxi them there. And my one thing was I wanted them to take at least 1 year of piano.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they all did, although one of them says she didn't. And there's so many, I can't remember if I did. I don't know how one of them got by me. They didn't have to take a year. But I will
probably
tell
all
you,
the other siblings sit here and go, how come you got out of it? We all had to do it.
Oh, yeah. Thomas, the boy, and I thought he had a real talent.
Yeah.
And he was like 9 years old, and he took a year, and he came home. We went to the little, what do you call it? Where they did the recital.
Oh, the recital.
We went to the recital, and he
fun.
did his little thing and his little bow. And then we came out, and he had his little suit, and he said, I never want to do that again.
Oh.
And I said, no, you're good at it. Really, you need to do it. So I thought, okay, well, I'll get him. Me and Tom came up with this thing. You either take another year of piano or you have to get a job.
Oh.
He's 10. And he said, I'll mow yards. And I thought, So he got our little push mower and the little weed eater. And he made up flyers and went around to our whole neighborhood. And when he came home, he had jobs. They hired a little 10-year-old. And at the end of the summer, he bought himself a used four-wheeler. I said, this backfired on us. We should have never made that. So he never finished piano. But he learned a good work ethic at 10 years old mowing yards.
Absolutely.
And it grew, and I had to get a trailer and load up all his stuff because it went to other neighborhoods, and I had to haul him around. So I still ended up being
the taxi driver.
But yes.
You totally see the purpose in that, though, for sure.
It was.
Yes.
It was.
Yeah. Tell the names of your kids. They're all T's, because you're Tonya, your husband's Tom, and they're all T's.
Tara's the oldest.
Okay.
Talisa, Thomas, Tressa, Tamra, Teal, Talia, and Teslin. And some of them married T's, which just really gets crazy. We have a Travis, a Todd, and a Tyler.
Oh, wow.
So it's wild. It is wild. But
tongue twisters, for
sure.
It
is. It is. And really, they're known as T1, T2, T3, T4. It's just easier to call them by the number that they were born. So
that's smart.
How we do a lot of it.
So tell a little bit, just real quick, how a little bit of your testimony.
Okay. When Tom and I got married, neither one of us were saved.
Okay.
We met in Jacksonville, Florida. He was in hospital administration, and I went down there, moved. Believe it or not, I had a girlfriend. I was working in an x-ray department in Salisbury, North Carolina, and she came up and she said, Tonya, you want to move to Jacksonville with me? I'm going to go to college down there, and I need a roommate. Well, I had no clue where Jacksonville was. I said, does it have a beach? She said, yeah. I said, I'm in. And I literally, I went to my boss, told him, I'm moving to Jacksonville, told my mom and daddy. I said, I'm headed to Jacksonville. Didn't know anybody down there. She got sick and couldn't come with me. So I moved down. I got a job at Methodist Hospital. My first day of work, I was in x-ray, and I was x-raying somebody, and this man opened the door for the housekeeping ladies, and it was Tom. And so I asked, this girl's name was Elizabeth. I said, Elizabeth, who is that? She said, that's Tom Shepard. I said, does he work here? She said, yeah, he works up in administration. I said, is he married? She said, no. I said, he's going to be.
Oh.
I had never seen any man so kind that worked in administration that would open the door for the housekeeping ladies. And I thought, okay, this is a gentleman right here. This is a real gentleman.
And 49 years later.
Yes.
Wow.
About 6 months later, we were married.
Okay.
That's no lie.
Okay.
And then we were neither one saved. Neither one of us knew the Lord.
Okay.
And my sister wrote me a letter. And my mom had went with her downtown China Grove to mail the letter. You know, you pull the thing, put it in. And Mama said she literally, when she put it in the mailbox, she went into a panic, like, Tonya's going to just kill me writing her this letter. But she spelled everything out. She told me about the Lord, that I was a sinner, how Jesus had died for me. She wrote every scripture out. So when I got home from x-ray, I sat on the steps of Cardell apartment, and I read that letter, and I'm bawling. And I trusted Christ sitting there right on those steps.
Wow.
And when Tom came home, of course, he could tell I'd been crying. He said, what is wrong? I said, here, read this letter. He said, what is it? I said, it's from my sister. I said, you need to be saved. He said, from what? I said, just read the letter. It took him about 3 months.
Okay.
And we visited churches. We visited so many churches that on Thursday night, visitation night, churches were meeting together, knocking on our door. And in November 20th, we came home from visiting a church, and we were in that little apartment at the table. I'll never forget it. And he opened the Bible. Of course, I didn't know anything. He's looking at me. He said, okay, could it be this easy? Could it possibly be this easy? I said, Tom, I don't know. He said, well, what about all these, whatever they are, that go up on the mountain and they pray and they don't talk forever? You telling me that if they don't trust Christ, they're not going to go to heaven? I said, honey, I don't know. We opened the Bible. He just opened it, and it came open to about there being false teachers. And he said, that's good enough for me.
Wow.
And he bowed his head right there at the kitchen table, and he prayed and asked the Lord to save him. And this is what has changed our life. And if people would ever get this, I think it would change their marriages and everything. He looked at me. He said, you know what? We are trusting what this book is telling us, where we will spend eternity, that our name will be written in the Lamb's Book of Life. We're trusting it to take us to heaven. He said, so you know what we're going to do from now on? I said, what? He said, we're going to read this book. If it tells us to do something, we're going to do it. If it tells us not to do something, we're just not going to do it. I said, okay, that sounds fine to me. We have an instruction book. All the rules are there. Everything's there to grow us in Christ. And that was the end. And that made our marriage, I thought, so simple.
Sure.
There was nothing, there were no arguments, because it was like if we heard preaching, we went home, we studied it out, and that was the end of it for us. We just decided that's it. And when we went to church, it was a little bitty church. We were at the top of Signal Mountain. This was way down in Chattanooga. And we'd go to that church, and the guy, first Sunday, and we told him, Tom had gotten saved. I had just gotten saved. He said, well, you're going to come back tonight? Well, we didn't know. It was Sunday night.
Sunday night?
And we said, Tom said, well, what y'all doing tonight? He said, well, we have service. He said, well, I just heard it. He said, oh, it's a totally different one. Tom said, okay, they're having church. We'll go. We went back down that mountain. It's 28 miles back down that mountain to church. When Sunday night ended, he said, okay, y'all coming back Wednesday night? Tom said, for what? He said, oh, we have church Wednesday night. Tom said, okay, we'll be back. That was it. We went, that just settled it. That started our marriage. That's how we lived our life. And it just made things so much easier because we were just led by the Word of God. And that changed everything for us. Yeah. Everything.
So tell me what it was like raising 8 children, homeschooling all 8 children, and any favorite traditions or tips that have made it work for your family.
What it was like. You saw I had to take a real deep breath. Of course, that may have to do with Castle Rock being 6,000 feet. And
exactly.
There's no oxygen here.
That's right.
No, you have to be organized. And, sometimes you can get too busy, but you have to be organized. You can't get up without telling the Lord, I've got to get through this day.
Yeah.
I've got to, the faithfulness of raising them. I think that is the key. Well, that's one of the keys. The other one is having your kids see you love your husband. If that husband-wife relationship is not good, because I have seen kids that come out of unsaved homes that husbands and wives love each other, and those kids are different.
Yes.
Even though they didn't grow up in a Christian
right.
home. And I had a lady tell me one time she'd rather have teens in her youth group that were from lost homes than from homes where the parents compromised. She said it made all the difference. So I think the husband-wife relationship, you have to love each other. Your kids have to see you love each other all the time. It should never be a, ooh, when you kiss your husband.
Right.
I mean, it should be, this is an everyday occurrence. Yeah. This is what happens all the time. This is nothing new. And being faithful, what's the word I'm looking for? To not compromise. If something's wrong one day, it's wrong the next day, and you don't give in. You know, it is a fight.
Consistency is hard.
That's it. It is, and of course, I'm looking at what's happened now and all the new books that have come out, and I'm thinking, heaven help if they'd have had those books when I was raising these kids. I can guarantee you, I would not have any. Well, the Lord can do anything, but I can't see how the way a lot of kids are being raised now, how that's going to be conducive to anything good coming out of it. And I know that's terrible to say that, but I honestly believe that because I'm watching it, and I'm watching it now 10 years in the making, and I'm seeing what's coming out of it. And it's a little bit scary to me. And I talked to a woman, and she said, well, I'm just going to try this. I said, why would you try something that has not been tried? The way you were raised, you're in church, you love the Lord. Your parents couldn't have done too bad a job,
right? Because
you love the Lord. Yeah. Now you're teaching your kids to love the Lord, but you're going to use a whole new method. What if it doesn't work? What if your kids don't get saved? You know, it horrifies me, and I know I'm the most politically incorrect person probably in this whole room. Really, I'm as non-woke as they come. And I probably won't ever change. My kids will tell you that. Yeah. The things we did back in the day, I'm still doing. Yes, are they not in touch with what's going on everywhere else? Probably not. But I like the results that it got.
Sure.
And, and I still say stuff to my grandkids, and some say, Mama, you can't say that. I said, oh, yes, I can. Oh, yes, I can. I can because, for one thing, if they don't think that their kids are getting brainwashed from these phones and from TV, they are. They TikTok, are. So, yes. You know what? Us as grandparents, we need to get in there and do just as much brainwashing and put in for the Lord as much as we can, how much He loves them, how, we want them to love the Lord. Yeah. We want them to serve the Lord. Yeah. It's just, there's nothing better than that in the whole world. And one day we'll stand before Him and, you just want to have crowns to lay at His feet. Yeah. And so
I often, with young moms, I remember being a young mom and thinking every little decision I make is going to mess up my kid, could mess up my kid. So I never wanted to make a wrong decision that would impact them, right? So it's nerve-wracking when you're hearing and being bombarded by all this advice And we sometimes, I even want to encourage young moms. I will say this now. I'm in my 50s. I feel like I hope I've earned the, enough that I can say this. But I really want to just encourage young moms. First of all, we do have, not you, there are some women, especially in our church, that are such godly women. Let them speak into your life. Let them tell you and help you with things. Go to them, ask them for advice. How would you handle this? How would you do this? Because I think there are so many times, you're right. It's like you've been through with some things, and you also see the results. And I just feel like sometimes we're so concerned about messing them up that we're also not willing to hear the biblical advice or the godly advice that our mothers and our grandmothers went before us, because there could be, I don't know, bitterness there, or hurt feelings there, or things that you just completely don't agree with. And I think, okay, I understand that sometimes. Even let your mother-in-law speak to you. Let your, I just feel like that's so important sometimes. I remember my mom having to tell me something about the boys. And she said, Debbie, I know that this, she just kept telling me something about them that I needed to kind of be aware of and to fix, basically, right? And I remember just listening, just being quiet and listening, instead of arguing and giving pushback and being like, well, you just don't understand, or that's not the way we do things now, or whatever. I do remember thinking, okay, even if I don't agree with this or I don't think it's truth, I need to listen to this and let the Lord help me find what's the truth out of it. And do you know, today, my mom says, she said, Debbie, thank you for letting us speak into your those are our grandkids too. And I believe that. And I think we should allow family and people that have to, especially people that are in church and godly and living Christian lives. I'm not talking about those kind of things, but you know what I mean? I'm just talking about godly, biblical things. Let them, and help ask the Lord to help us receive that and to help us to see, okay, Lord, convict my heart, open my heart. They just care. They're not being critical. They actually care and love my child as much as I do. And I'm realizing, grandparents, I think even more. It
is true. It is true. Mm-hmm. And I think because sometimes older people are considered, your ways are not. Mm-hmm. I mean, I had a friend, we were at a church, and it was a ladies' class, and one of the elderly ladies spoke up and said something, mm-hmm. and it was really good. And my friend that was with me went up to her after the class and said, I so appreciate you saying that. That really helped me. And she said, well, thank you, because she said, I don't feel like anybody else in the class cares one thing about what I have to say. Mm. And that hurt my heart.
Right.
That hurt my heart. I'm like, this lady is a godly lady.
Yeah.
She's been on the mission field. Mm. She's a pastor's wife. Mm-hmm. And yet, because she's older,
they probably have some discernment.
Absolutely. What she said was, if I'm thinking to myself, y'all listen to her. Mm. She can help you. Mm-hmm. She can help you. So, I don't know. We've hit the gamut on this thing.
Right. And I also think, too, I encourage some older women, some grandmas out there, and some mother-in-laws. I mean, that is something that I am a new mother-in-law, and I look to people that are really good my mother-in-law is amazing. I have the best mother-in-law, and I love her so much. She's the kindest, and she has MS, and she goes through been through a lot of suffering, and I have so much respect and love for her. And she taught me a lot on how to love my husband, because she loves Tate. She loves her boys, let me tell you. And so I was like, man, sometimes I'd see things and I go, that should be me, not her. That should be me encouraging my husband that way. You know what I mean? Now I have boys, I totally get it. There's just something about your kids that have your heart. But what I was going to say was, I just really want to encourage the older women too. Don't forget to encourage them. Don't just be critical because they don't fold the laundry the way that you do. They don't keep the house clean as you used to. Or it's not those things that are important.
Right.
It's the biblical things. It's loving them. It's encouraging them. It's coming alongside them. And don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
We just, as girls, we're in our head, women, we just second guess everything. We feel like we're terrible mothers as it is, or we feel like we're the worst at this. So us as older women really need to encourage our younger moms and our younger women.
Well, at the end of the day, you just tell the Lord, I did the best I could. I know I made a lot of mistakes. I know I wasn't the best mother today.
Yeah.
And help me be better tomorrow.
Yep. Help me.
Yeah.
Father,
and that
forgive me
that
today.
was
Help
an
me better
everyday
tomorrow.
occurrence.
Me too.
Help me do better
Especially
tomorrow.
with homeschooling.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
So
yes.
what would you say has been your hardest season as a mom?
Oh,
And
goodness.
how did God meet you right in the middle of it?
The hardest season. Mm-hmm. Oh, goodness. I have this uncanny ability to forget the bad. I really do.
Good for
I
you.
live for the day.
That's
I
good.
get up in the morning, what happened yesterday, I don't think about.
move forward.
So the kids will tell me, Mama, do you remember such and such did such and such? And I'm like, no. And I literally get up, and Tom says, I've never seen anybody that can just get up, forget everything that happened yesterday, and you're on to the next day and don't care what happened.
Sure.
And I really have been like that. So there were struggles. The kids weren't perfect for sure. We had times where we had to sit them down and say, this is not going to happen. I mean, and the kids will say, I'm pretty smart mouth. I mean, if I were to get in the flesh in a New York minute, I mean, you're never going to win an argument, which is terrible for a woman. And I have to really watch that because my head clicks in there and I, could cut somebody down in a heartbeat.
Speak before you think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not take the time to stop, pause, think, is this going to be the right thing to say? Because I'm just quick-witted, quick at answering somebody before I really should. So that's probably my biggest downfall as far as that goes with the kids, just being too quick to, and of course they'll tell you, they had to hear, oh, we got too many spankings.
Right.
I'm like, no, I saw what you were as a teenager. We didn't give you enough. So, but they would tell you that. I guarantee you they would tell you,
Sure.
oh, we got too many spankings. But
How did you actually curve out quiet time with 8 kids running around?
they went to bed at 7:00. They did. And they hated it. I said, you don't have to go to sleep. But at 7:00, you're going to all be in the bed. I mean, even up when they were teenagers, I said, in your room, 7:00. Of course, there were no phones. There were no
Right.
TVs in the room.
Right.
They,
You
they
have to
wouldn't
guard
have
that
to be.
nowadays. You
They
can't-
wouldn't.
you
They didn't have
couldn't
to be
do that
asleep,
today.
but they
Right.
had to be in the bed because I
Yes.
told them, my motherhood ends at 7, and this is Tom time.
Yeah.
And I said, we've had supper together. The house is clean. You're in the bed at 7. And that was my quiet time. And that was my Tom time. And I kept that the whole time. And none of them put their kids to bed at 7.
Yeah.
But they said, oh, no, we hated that. I said, okay. But,
You can do it different.
it
That's
worked
right.
for us.
It worked for you. And I think that's really key too. What's going to work for you? But I really do think that's important though. You have to be intentional about your God and I time, right? Your quiet time.
You have to.
You have to make it an intentional thing. You have to make your husband, or your wife intentional to have quiet time with them. And I do think sometimes that I want to give moms, like, it's okay to stay home. Sometimes you feel like, I got to be out, I got to be doing this all the time. Some of us need that encouragement to get out. So depending on who we're talking to, but I think it's okay to stay home and put your kids to bed consistently at the same time every night.
Oh,
it's okay.
Well, now the science is coming out to prove they need 12 hours of sleep, and none of these kids get 12 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Everybody, I mean, they're up. Sometimes the parents are going to bed and they're still up.
Right.
And so I'm
And
like,
that's dangerous.
no,
Yeah.
y'all put them in the bed.
Yeah.
Have some time.
Have a
and
routine.
I know.
Have a routine.
Well,
Putting
it's
them to
hard,
bed.
especially when you get up in the morning and you think, okay, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to open my Bible. I've got my coffee. I'm ready. And the minute the coffee hits the table, a baby cries.
Sure.
And you're all ready to have that devotion. I said, I used to literally keep a Bible open in the bathroom, keep a Bible open in the kitchen. So if I had a minute, I would read a verse or two. That's all the time you had.
Gotcha. Yeah, and sometimes that's right. The season of life that you're in. It's
That's
the season of life that you're in. Okay, one marriage habit you and Tom have never let go of, even in the busiest seasons.
Well, it was the nighttime thing. He traveled sometimes.
Oh,
and I
true.
had all the kids till he got home on Friday.
Okay,
And that was challenging
I bet.
because you were the boss all week. And the minute he'd walk back in, I'd have to say, you are no longer in charge, Tonya. I'd look in the mirror literally, you're not in charge anymore. Back off. He's now home. He runs the place. Let him run it. And it was hard, especially when you've been used to doing it for the whole time.
That's a shout out even to our military wives. That a lot of times that's difficult. I see them going through that too, because there's the wives, or when their husbands are deployed, and they're used to having to do everything and run everything, and then when the husband comes back, it's very difficult just to switch back, kind of thing. So yeah,
we still kid and cut up all the time. Things are funny. We die laughing at each other. We still have humor in the house, and usually nights are our time. When it's quiet. Of course, now, let me tell you, before you retire, you better get everything done that you want to get done, because after retirement, it's just as crazy. I mean, it is just as crazy as it was before you retired.
Really?
So, yes.
After speaking to our Castleview ladies last night about pondering Christ in the busy Christmas season, what's one piece of advice you'd give young moms in the thick of motherhood right now?
That is their ministry.
Their children?
Their children.
Yeah.
Their husband and their children. They think, I've got all these kids. I'm really not doing anything. No, that is your ministry.
Yeah.
That is the most important thing. Because what is it that you do if you go out and you work and you serve and you do all this and you lose your kids?
Yes.
And they don't know Christ. That is your ministry. So don't think, okay, I can't do what she's doing. I can't serve the way she's serving. You don't need to.
You don't need to.
Your ministry
That's right.
is your husband and those kids.
That's right.
And it doesn't get any better than that.
It doesn't.
It just does not.
It does not. Yeah. Okay, so what do you believe God has for you in the next season of your life?
Well, I've always
Because you're
thought,
empty nesters.
Oh, you would think, wouldn't you? No. When we moved to Burrito Key, our goal was we're going to go out on the beach, we're going to open a lounge chair every morning, and we're going to read.
Okay.
I think we've done that 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
And so
because you're so busy.
It is. You're just so busy because we have grandkids in town, and now they know, okay, if we want to go somewhere, which I love, can you come and keep the kids, drive up here and stay a week and let us go, which I love doing.
Yes.
But I'm back in a van again after all these years of driving a conversion van, and we sold it in 2015, I think, and I'd driven a van since 74. Okay. So all those years, we just got a van again, a conversion van, so I'm beyond thrilled. So I talked to Tom today. We're coming to Castleview this summer. Castle Rock's
You hear
the
that,
town.
everybody.
Yes.
They're coming back.
I said, you're going to die when you see this place.
I can't wait.
So beautiful. Yeah. So beautiful.
We were laughing about that too. We actually have a lot in common, Tonya and I, and just some of the same circles, and which is really funny. I got to add this in there real quick about the Methodist Hospital in Jacksonville, Florida. We lived in my senior year in high school. We moved to Jacksonville, Florida from Arkansas, and we just lived down the road from Methodist Hospital. So those little things are just so crazy.
Is it still there now? I don't even know.
I think it is. I can't remember now either if it changed into something else or whatever. But anyway, lots of things in common, and just have loved having
every
you
minute
for sure.
here.
I do want you to share. I would love for you to share, and then we're going to do something really fun to close this out. I would love for you to share your life verse.
Okay, I had it up
your
here.
Your favorite verse. Yep.
First, what in the world? It is 1 Corinthians 15:58. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as you know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. And that means anything you do all to the glory of God to me.
Amen.
So none of it's in vain. As little as it may seem or as big as it may, it's not in vain. Just keep serving the Lord, keep loving Him, and be faithful. That to me that's everything.
I love that. I love that verse. When you told me that was your life verse, I'm like, I love this verse.
And it really, it's never changed. This has been it forever.
And some of us go through burnout, right? We're going through transitions in our life. Maybe we're apathetic, maybe in the God's word, or maybe we're doubting things. Maybe we're going through something, just trauma. I don't know, right? And I love that verse because it should be, even when we're serving in ministry, even when I'm serving, there are days where it's like, oh, this is just a duty, or I have to be there. And you know what? It's like, Debbie, remember, everything that you do is to honor and glorify God. And it's not in vain. It's in vain when I serve through the flesh. But when I'm doing it for his honor and his glory, and it's not about Debbie, Debbie gets out of the way, it's all about, it's not done in vain.
And see, I think that's for people who, like, you've been here and you've put everything into growing this church for the glory of God. And I think it's easier to do that when you're at a place. And we moved so much.
Sure.
I mean, just 14 times that I
imagine.
moved. And so you're meeting new people. So everything stayed fresh.
Yes.
And it was like a different family. So we have families all over the country because, you know, we were in New Jersey, we were in Seattle, we were in California, Florida, Tennessee, Alabama. And we have friends from all those places. So you can't really get stagnant. And it's always been, and I don't know that we really made this conscious decision, but every church that we were in, I wanted to be a blessing to the pastor's wife, and Tom wanted to be a blessing to the pastor.
And
we kind of made
sure.
that our ministry because people don't realize pastors' wives are not like every other wife in the church. She really doesn't have somebody that she can go everywhere with all the time, because then you've got other ladies. Oh, she likes her and she doesn't like me, because you know ladies can sometimes be. And so I was always just looking for ways that I could help the pastors' wives.
I have many of those.
I
have a
watched.
handful.
I watched it.
have such great ladies that are such an encouragement for that too, and they are a blessing. I will tell you, it is a blessing, and just so thankful for that. Well, Tonya, thank you so much. I feel like we've known each other forever.
Seriously.
I just love you. Your personality, your humor, your transparency, just everything the little things that we haven't even touched the base of what you've been through in your life, and how amazing God has been to you and your family, and how good God is. And my ladies ate you up this weekend in Sunday school. Isn't that good this morning?
Oh, that was so
And my
unreal.
ladies are just the women in our church. I can't say enough about how much I love them and how hungry they are. And that makes it so fun.
It's obvious.
It makes it
is
really
so
fun
obvious.
when they're hungry and we worship together, and it's so bonding. And I just want to thank you for taking the time away from your husband, taking the time away from your grandkids, taking the time away from your church, which I know you're very involved with. And I just appreciate you coming out here and speaking your heart and sharing your story, your aha moment for those of you that were there in Sunday school this morning. And love you.
It was my pleasure.
I
feel like I've known
for life.
you my whole life.
Me too.
I mean, from the minute I met you.
Yeah.
From the minute.
We laughed about the picked you up at the airport. You were dressed out like a Coloradan. I was so impressed. She had this beautiful fur on and boots, and she was ready. You were ready to go.
Well, I had a hard time finding
You were ready to
shoes. Well, thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun.
We're praying
so
for you.
much.
We heard it here. They're coming back this summer.
Oh, Tom's already reminded me.
Good.
He said we're going to take a trip.
That's so good. Thank you, Castleview. I hope this is a blessing to many of you out there, and I hope that you have a very Merry Christmas. And it's just started. We have Christmas at Castleview coming up. So enjoyed you all coming out to the ladies' Christmas event, and this morning with us worshiping together. Wasn't church just amazing?
Oh, my soul.
So good today.
It was so
Thank you,
good.
Castleview. We love you.